Hi there, and welcome to the show. This is the College Problems Podcast, breaking down the more serious and lighthearted issues students everywhere are facing. And we're doing it mostly from a journalism, personal safety, and a young professor's perspective. I'm one of those professors. My name is Dan Reimold. Read my book, Journalism of Ideas, or check out my blog, College Media Matters. I'm joined today, as always, by the lovely and talented Christina Gaudio, a personal safety educator, victims advocate, and victimology professor. So our first college problem that we want to lay out is what the Washington Post recently termed overparenting. Helicopter parents have been around forever, but apparently, according to a new Washington Post story, this overparenting 2.0 phenomenon is taking it into the new media age. This is what a portion of the Post piece mentions. Quote, "The kids who have been raised by parents who watch their every move, check their grades online hourly, advocated for them endlessly, and kept them busy from event to activity to play date, are tucked away in college, but that doesn't mean their parents have let go. They make themselves known to schools, professors, counselors, and advisors, and yes, college presidents." Chris, I'm curious to get your take on this. Do you see helicopter parenting as being a problem? Is it something that you ever faced as well yourself?
I can completely relate. I came from a very overprotective family. They were the parents that always knew my grades, always talking to the teachers, knew everything that was going on before I even did it. That's just who they were. And, I always made the joke that I didn't have a leash. I had a choke collar. I had a curfew even when I was engaged and I was 22 years old. It's just how my parents were, but I didn't know anything different.
But it's one thing, I feel like, to be a caring parent and to possibly have rules that some might see as antiquated and others would simply see as good common sense to raise the right kind of child. But it's another, I think, is the Post piece and others that I'm seeing, coming after this piece are talking about, is the idea of learning when to let go and knowing at least when to separate from when the kid's in your house, under your roof, playing by your rules, and when they're playing by a whole new set of rules, being on a college campus.
Yes, I think cutting the apron strings is probably the most difficult thing for a parent. They've raised them, they've guided them, they've shown them everything they know, and now they're going to start their new chapter in life without them. That, for any parent, is like someone ripping their heart out and stomping on it.
And again, it's not like this is a new issue or situation, the idea of parents having to learn to let go. But according to the Washington Post report, we're definitely seeing a generational shift here in which parents who might have taken it hard when they dropped their kids off at school, in recent decades, were able to drive away and have the students live their life with maybe a few weekly phone calls, and visits home in a given semester. What we are seeing now, apparently, more and more, is a lack of that separation, seemingly for two big reasons. One, a technological shift in which parents and grandparents and everyone else can monitor their kids' daily and even hourly activity through the various methods of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course check in at all times through texting and phone calls that they expect to be answered because the phones are now attached to their child's hip.
You're looking at the situation of this started when they were at a young age. For them to break their habits now with their kids, it's going to be virtually impossible. We're talking about these parents who were those parents who said, I want my child to have a trophy. Even though they weren't on the winning team. They want their children to have everything that everybody else does because they want to give them everything, because they can give them everything. And at the end of the day, your child needs to learn in the work field, in college, life's not fair. You're not going to always get what you want. You have to work for it, earn it, and then it will come to you. You're not going to be handed to you on a silver platter.
And this is the Washington Post story's second main point. When have we become this generation in which kids are coddled to that degree that apparently without any sense of irony or impropriety, parents are calling college presidents to complain about minor issues that students are having with a classmate or a professor? Not that some of these situations might not warrant some attention, or at times the 18-year-old reaching out to mom or dad for help, but my God, the fact that they would not even realize the levels that they should have to go through before bothering the leader of an institution is just absurd to me.
They have to learn that their child is an adult. They should have allowed their children to fight their own battles when they were kids. Because I can guarantee you that person that's calling the president of a college because there's a problem with their student on campus is because they were the first parent that ran to the principal when their kid got into any kind of issue at school, whether it be minor or major. Your kids have to fight their own battles. They have to learn to deal with things. That's a very, very, very difficult thing for parents to deal with. They want to help you. They want to do everything they can. And I think sometimes they realize that your son or daughter is calling you to vent, to deal with what's going on with them because, maybe they can't talk to their roommate or they haven't made friends enough yet on campus.
But they are not necessarily reaching out and saying, please play James Bond / MacGyver / Dear Abby. You need to fix this.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's just, I need a shoulder and I need to just let it out and I just need to vent. I'm in my 30s and I still reach out to my mother and I need to vent when I'm having an issue.
And there's the difference. Be the ear for them to listen.
And the shoulder.
And be the advisor or mentor that you can offer some words. You've probably been there yourself at one time. But recognize that the vibe I get from reading related student opinion pieces as well is, Mom and Dad, I love you, but you need to back off a little bit. I've got enough craziness and, issues to deal with on campus without you getting involved. And let's be honest, probably muddying the waters more than fixing things, especially when you're calling the university president. Just insane, in my opinion. And definitely something I've seen a few times as a professor. And I try hard not to, blame the student for it. It's often just the parents acting on their own, going off on a trigger.
I will say, though, there are always that rare situation where a parent needs to get involved in a situation that needs that president phone call. There are always situations.
What about more serious situations, specifically the second college problem that we wanted to bring up here, and that's 3 simple words: date, rape, drugs. Mm-hmm. These things are apparently more ubiquitous than ever, even to the point, maybe you can fill us in on this, Chris, that a new invention is really being buzzed about simply for the fact that it might be able to identify some of these substances.
We're probably talking about there's this new nail polish that's been developed by 4 undergraduates from a university in North Carolina. Actually, 4 gentlemen who actually are the ones who have developed it. It's called Undercover Colors. What I like about this product is that it's one of the first big products that's gotten a lot of mainstream attention and brought more of the date, rape, drug phenomena out there for students and for parents, in the aspect that most date, rape drugs are odorless, colorless, and tasteless. They can go in alcohol, they can go in soda, they can go in water. It doesn't matter. This product was developed because these gentlemen wanted women to be able to feel empowered, so that way if they went out and they went to a bar or they went to a party, when they got an alcoholic drink, if they were wearing this nail polish, if they put their finger in the drink just to stir it around or whatever, if the nail polish changed color, there's a date, rape, drug present in the drink.
Been around higher education in various capacities, from undergrad to grad student to professor now for, a good decade and a half. I feel like we absolutely are hearing more about the dangers of these sorts of drugs than ever before. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that first? And is it happening more? There's simply more awareness? People are fighting back? Like, what's going on with this?
There's a mixture, actually. Yes, it's going on. It's going on, but I think now we're knowing more about it. There's also, every time we turn around, there's a new date rape drug. Everybody knows roofies or Rohypnol. Yeah. Ketamine or Special K, gamma hydroxybutyrate, which is GHB. But things like Ambien and things like that are starting to be used as date rape drugs.
Is it still the classic method that they teach you to be on the lookout for while you're in school of these little pills being slipped into and dissolved into drinks?
It's pills, it's powders, it's liquids, it's so many different variations of it. I think that's why these gentlemen who created this product have said this will be good for powders, for liquids, for any kind of type of date rape drug. They do list a lot of them on their site that tells you exactly which ones it will pick up. It doesn't cover the whole gamut, but it's the next step.
I like the idea of the invention, both for what it hopefully can do, as it purports to, and seems to be the reporting on it saying it actually can, but also for the larger symbol of this attempt to really proactively try and take back the reins from the individuals who are slipping these, drugs into people's drinks or doing it, in various ways.
Yes.
What about the more old school methods? Are there, still some classic ways to try and stay safe?
Yes, obviously. Not every woman's going to want to add one more thing to her list when she's going out at night to go to a bar or a restaurant. Here, now I have to put this nail polish on to make sure I'm not going to be slipped a roofie. Yeah. That can be a very difficult thing. So I would say some of the most simple tips: if you go to a party, don't let somebody get your drink for you. Get it yourself. Obviously don't be getting your drinks out of big punch bowls. You have no idea what's in them. You ever put your drink down, don't pick it back up. It takes someone less than a half a second to put something in your drink that you will not know is there. You go to a bar, make sure you're watching your bartender make a drink. Don't just order your drink, turn around, talk to your girlfriend, and come back to it. If you have to go out, I know a lot of places and a lot of states have made no smoking rules in bars. I constantly go to a bar and I see people who have a drink out on the bar. They go, oh, excuse me, I want to go have a smoke. And they leave it there for 5 to 10 minutes. Go and smoke outside and come back in, and they just pick their drink right back up, not thinking about it. So it's just a lot of common sense. We obviously want to also address the aspect that it's not the woman's responsibility to watch her back. I am very much about being aware of your surroundings, being safe, but at the end of the day, we also want to make sure we put the information out there and put more education out there of not to do these things, not to rape, not to use date rape drugs, put more resources out there, make the law stricter that the punishments will be more severe. But I think that what these gentlemen are doing and this product that's out there is just another tool that if somebody wants to use it to help protect themselves, it's out there, they can use it, and they can feel safer. And that's what matters at the end of the day.
Perfect place to close out. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Join us next time on the College Problems Podcast.